Hello, friends. This is Catherine Marie, and this episode is about money problems. And before I go into that, I wanted to give you a disclaimer that I accidentally said the S word. And I don't want to have to change the whole thing to say that the podcast is explicit, because I try to keep it really clean, but I'm not very good at editing yet, and I would just rather leave it for now. And the other thing is, I made at least one error where I said a check and I meant a bill. But again, that is very typical of brain fog and long COVID brain. So please forgive me there. And other than that, this is probably one of the most relatable ones yet. Here we go. Money problems. This is Catherine Marie, and the topic I want to discuss today is money. I don't know about you, but I am feeling constantly stressed about money. And before I got long COVID, I was making really good money, and I thought I was set for life, and I just did not see coming, like waking up and being sick and like never getting better. And now, the mental health outpatient thing that I did, well, today I just got slapped with a check for over $6,000 for that, and I thought my insurance was covering it. So we have to call the insurance company and ask about that and go on a payment plan for that. It definitely is having a negative effect on my mental health. Makes me question whether I should have done it at all. The lawyers that I'm working with for federal medical retirement, they cost $6,500. And once that goes through, I'm going to be getting 60% of my former salary. Actually, not even my former salary, the average of my last 3 years' salary. So it doesn't actually include what I would have been getting paid this year, because I haven't been getting paid through my job. So even though I just got a significant raise, that's not even going to count. So I just didn't see this coming. And part of me was proud of myself for taking time for myself and trying to rest. But the amount of stress that has resulted from resting makes me question whether this was the right decision. And I applied for Social Security disability, because you have to apply for that in order to apply for disability retirement. And, they'll take a big chunk of that money if I get any money from that. And we're looking at moving out of our apartment and into a manufactured home to try to decrease our monthly expenditures. We're taking a large amount out of our retirements, a hardship withdrawal, and I just feel really sad and really angry. And frankly, the mental health aspect of this is pure agony to me right now. this is why people with long COVID don't want to live anymore. Like, this is why. And I am not suicidal or wanting to harm myself or anything like that. But I totally understand the feelings that would get someone to that point. And don't worry, if I really felt like I was going to do something like that, I would go to the ER right away or call the 988 suicide number. But I've never been suicidal and I've never attempted suicide before. And I am very protective of my life. But that being said, I'm just in so much misery. I don't even know, like, I was doing the public service loan forgiveness program and working as a public servant for the last several years, and I'm so close to paying off my loans and having them not paying them off, but having them forgiven. Because even though I've been making payments for, 15 years or something, I think that the amount of my loans is still greater than the original amount of the loan. So unless they're forgiven, I'm probably never going to pay off my loans, even with giving 10% of my income, my gross income, which ends up being a very large percentage of what you actually take home. So I don't know, like I just feel in complete mental agony right now. Like the anguish that I'm feeling, how much I feel like a burden. I just feel like, holy shit, like how is there, like I'm like a person that had a really nice paycheck. I have really great medical insurance. And like none of that it doesn't matter. It's like, holy crap, I'm going to end up, I'm already losing my life as I knew it, and I'm going to be disabled, and hopefully I'll still have insurance when I retire, but even with insurance, oh my God, I just can't believe how much I'm already in debt just medically. And I've been keeping up with all the doctor appointment copays somehow. I don't even know how I've been able to do that. And I've been trying to get help, with the apartment and childcare, but like, I'm trying not to swear here, but holy crap, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what are any of us supposed to do? How is it that we don't have any safety net? I just don't understand how this is even possible. Like, to work for so long. I've worked since I was 14 years old. 14. I had to get a special waiver because I was so young to work. I've worked my butt off while in school my entire life, working on breaks, never went on a spring break trip, put myself through school, all of the school that I've been through. And I finally get to the other end and I'm starting to make money and I'm really close to having my loans forgiven, and this happens. And it's just like, what's the point anymore? Like, what's the point? I don't know. Like, why kill myself all these years to achieve and learn and grow and then just have it all not matter and be like impoverished and not able to pay my medical bills, which is insane because I have really good insurance and I'm a freaking medical provider myself. It's just like, this whole thing is so completely unbelievable to me. I just can't believe it. I can't wrap my head around all of this.
And I think to myself, wow, like I'm a medical provider and I was making good money. Like what about people that just were not, they weren't medical providers who know all about the medical system and weren't making decent money and, at the prime of their career or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that this is so much worse of a pandemic, like a pandemic of, long COVID than anyone has any conception of. And I think the problems have not fully manifested yet because, for me, I was working until November and no one at my job has any clue, I don't think, how bad it is and how sick I am and how my life feels like it's completely over. It scares me how much my life has changed and not for the better. I need to wrap this up because my kid's coming home soon, but I just I don't know, I was just crying a lot today because I just don't know what to do. And I've seen my doctor so many times and I've had med tweaks out to wazoo to try to help get everything under control and manageable, but my mental health is suffering so bad. And this is anguish, agony, this is it. Long COVID takes the freaking cake. I gotta go.
Okay, I am back now, and I can finish up the episode. So I guess the other thing that really astounds me and frustrates me about the money aspect of having long COVID is that all of the governmental structures set up to help people financially are so convoluted, at least from the perspective of a patient with long COVID. I'm usually very, very good at navigating government bureaucracy type stuff, but my brain cannot do it. And I need, that's why I have to hire lawyers to try to get basic things like Social Security disability, and why I don't trust myself to apply for disability retirement by myself. So I wish there was some sort of place that we could all go where people could say, okay, here is a place where we want you to come and we will show you how to make ends meet while you get better. Which leads me to another point that is very frustrating about long COVID, is that my sibling, who has long COVID as well, at one point, they had been taking a break in order to rest. And that is what we're supposed to be doing, right? Resting so we can relax. But the problem is, if you keep getting phone calls from insurance companies or God knows what companies are trying to, not give you money and have to prove that you're not, shirking the system or whatever. And it's just so much of a hassle that it's not worth it. For example, I am on workers' comp, and just the hassle of having to keep in touch with my supervisor from my job, case manager at the Department of Labor, someone from HR, someone from, it's just so many different people, and having to fill out paperwork every few days and having to wait and then, make sure that they do their job, and then they don't do their job, and then, you're calling, and it's just I don't have the energy for this stuff. I don't know how anyone successfully rests while they have long COVID unless they come from a family with generational wealth, because the amount of stress that you have, that you're trying to deal with to manage your life so that you don't end up homeless, like just that amount of energy right there is enough where you're never going to recover. You're never going to be able to have time to relax or to have any sort of time to have space for healing. And it's just so unfortunate because this is a really, really big deal. This is a life-changing thing that's happening to millions of people all over the world. And somehow we can't catch a break because no one believes it's happening, or they think we're making it up. Because, yeah, we would definitely want to make it up and live in a disabled way, barely making ends meet. Yeah, we all would definitely choose that. Yeah. It's just so frustrating. Every time I keep thinking, yeah, I should just keep, if I stay in workers' comp, I get more money than if I do disability retirement. But the number of calls and the number of things of people kind of harassing you, and it just feels like it's not worth it. The money's not worth it. I'd rather get less money. Eventually it'll be 40% of my old, like the average of my 3 years or whatever. But it's just like, it's going to be so much less than what I am currently getting just from workers' comp. But I don't care, because the amount of stress that I'm under just dealing with that is, I will be so glad when I don't have to see a workers' comp doctor every, 2 or 3 weeks. And it's just, it's trying to keep track of all the workers' comp stuff in addition to all of my other doctor's appointments. It's just really, really hard. And I know that if you're listening to me and you have long COVID, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I can't help but just say how frustrating it is. So yeah, basically the two main points of this little addendum to the original message about money problems is, number one, that ironically, we are not in a headspace, or we don't have the ability to figure out how to use the system to take care of us, to help us out in our time of greatest need. And ironically, it seems like long COVID hits the people hardest who are very high achieving, highly energetic people. So you know that they've already probably worked a long time and probably deserve all sorts of things from money that they've had to give the government over time. So it's just frustrating that these are the people that are struggling to figure out how to make ends meet. And these are the people that would have no problem doing it if they didn't have the brain fog. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is just that, what was the second thing? Brain fog. Dang you, brain fog. Yeah, just, what was that? And then just not being able to deal with the structure and bureaucracy of trying to get help. And then also not having any chance to actually heal because of the massive struggle. Even people who are able to get short-term disability, I was not able to do that, but like people who are able to get short-term help, they still have to go through all of these steps. And it's just so stressful. It's just so stressful. It just is so frustrating that while we're trying to recover from this crazy thing that has completely uprooted our lives, that all of a sudden we have to try to figure it out on our own while we are at times completely disabled. I just can't even fathom how this is occurring in the world right now. Okay. Anyway, I need to take a nap. Thank you for listening to my ranting. Please leave me any sort of messages if you have any insight on any of those things. Hello to all of the people outside the United States, I'm so excited at like the number of countries that where people are listening in. It makes me so excited because I've always just loved other cultures and other countries. So yeah, anyway, thank you for listening. Welcome everybody, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.